Photos for success.
Alrighty, TJ, you ready? Okay, so we're gonna gain stage, and the goal here is to shoot for about, which you can't see on where you're at right now, but I can see right here, and then the audience can see. We're gonna aim for about -12 to -24 dB full scale, which is I'm not gonna get into the details of that right now, but ideally you don't want to be clipping, and you don't want to be too low. And the reason for that, which I'll just share this little bit of information. Digital consoles kind of work like digital cameras. So it's capturing the audio in a certain resolution, and you could think of this like a camera resolution. So you have a 1080p camera, right? Which I think before is like the equivalent of, say, like 44.1 kilohertz. And then you can have like a 2K camera, which is the equivalent of like 48 kilohertz. And then you have 4K, which is equivalent to like 96 kilohertz, right? So the resolution goes up, and what that is how much audio is captured within like 1 second. So 48 kilohertz is 48,000 samples per second, right? It's like really hard to think about, but kind of like frame rate. You have 60 FPS, this and that. I may not be fully explaining that entirely correct, but the reason why that comes down to being important here is if you clip the top, right? Clipping the top is like you're too zoomed in on the signal. So when it hits the top, it clips. You lose all that information. You can't get that back. And if the gain is too low, say it's like down to -48, when you go to boost it in post, say, for example, in recording or even in a live setting, if you're not getting optimal signal coming into the console, then the console is kind of like digital zooming. And what that's doing is it's kind of like when you take a picture with the camera and then later you're like, I kind of wanted to just zoom in a little bit and use that frame. But then if you zoom in, you see the pixelation. That's like the noise that's being picked up and stuff. I'm not fully explaining this in like super technical because I'm trying to keep the analogy to make sense. But that's why we gain stage, is to get optimal signal. And optimal signal gives us the most headroom and the least amount of noise. And if gain staging is about anything, when it first comes to setting up your input gain, it's all about getting optimal signal to noise ratio. Like, we shouldn't have to crank it to the ceiling to where you start hearing the like the fuzz of the signal, and you shouldn't have to again be so low that in post right here, which you can't see, but I shouldn't have to be slamming my fader to the ceiling on the console, because then I'm overcompensating later on in the signal chain. So with that being said, because this is extra content, I'm just like yapping right now. We're going to go ahead and get started. So we're going to start with the kick. And I have kick in selected right now. And I believe I've already set the 48 volts. I just kind of went through and figured out which channels needed 48 and which didn't. And what that is essentially it's kind of sending power back through the channel to activate it and then get the signal back. I'm not 100% at the best at explaining that part, but some things need 48 and some things don't. And if you ever have a microphone that's not working, check to see if it needs 48 volt, and then give it the phantom power if it needs it. So more often, I've been noticing more mics nowadays need it than don't. So let's go ahead and start with the kick. Why don't you give me a couple kick hits, just like in repetition. Okay, so right now we're coming in about -24. And because this is a peak instrument, I'm going to run this kind of hot. We're going to go ahead and crank the gain until we get good signal. So now we're getting about -12. Okay, -12 is pretty good. And if anything, it's, in my opinion, at least in a live setting, it's fine if it goes from like -12 to -6 on like a mono instrument like this, and especially one that has a large dynamic range. And what I mean by dynamic range is, if you look right here, you see I have all this high-end energy and just a little bit of energy on the low end. So, you have a lot of energy up here on the low end, and you have a little less energy on the high end. And the reason why I'm running it kind of hot is so that we could get more of that high-end energy into the actual channel, so that we can use that later on when we're compressing stuff. So go ahead and continue with the kick, and I'm going to just streamline this. Okay, so we're about -6. We could bring that back down. About -12. That's good. Okay, now we're going to do kick out. Continue to kick. So right now we're pretty low. So we're going to go ahead and boost this till we get pretty good. Okay, that's pretty good. So you see how here we only needed 18 dB. This one, different mic, and this one needed about 30 dB of gain. And what I noticed with these, especially with Behringer and Midas, is a lot of their gains run pretty hot compared to other console series. So I have an Avantis at front of house, and the preamps on the stage boxes for like the GX48 by design runs a lot hotter out the gate. So for example, this kick-in mic, 18 dB, I had to boost it. This kick-out mic, about 30 dB. I would dare say on my console, this would probably be more around 10 to 12 dB. And then this kick-out maybe like 10 to 15 dB of gain. And that's just different consoles. The S32, the stage box we're using to record, it's a bit older as well. So the preamps are, they need a little bit more oomph and energy to get that signal going. So that's just per design, you're going to run into that. And then I think that's like important to kind of do the homework on the console and see like, does the preamps of this stage box run hot? Do they run soft? Because when I started using a lot of Behringer consoles, I noticed I'm like, oh my God, my gain's all the way up to like 30 dB. Like I'm worried about noise. But then like I listened to it and said, oh, there's not even any noise in it. It's pretty good. So, you know, again, yapping a bit. Okay, let's go to the snare.
Hey, it's TJ Fisher here with DFS Academy, and if you're enjoying this gain station video, you're gonna love the full mixing course we've got dropping soon on our Patreon. We got lots of exclusive content for musicians over there, so definitely go ahead and check it out. I'm TJ Fisher here with DFS Academy, helping you to make a difference one beat at a time. Peace.
Okay, so the snare, I believe he's got the 57s on it. So we already look like we're getting pretty good signal. I'm actually gonna just tweak this a bit. I'm going to get a little bit more out of this guy. About -12. I again, run mono and especially dynamic instruments hot. Don't run them quiet because you're going to crunch that dynamic range later in your processing. At least the way I mix. I crunch it later. Go ahead and do it again so I can get the bottom snare. That's about good. Okay, let's do tom 1. Okay, tom 1's actually doing pretty good right off the bat. We'll just give it a little bit more, like 5. Okay, let's do tom 2. Tom 2's doing pretty good too. Okay, sounds good too. Tom 3. Okay, so tom 3 is a different type of mic as well. It's not the Shure ones, so it may need a little bit more love. Okay, about there is good. Okay, let's do hi-hat. Okay, and I'm gonna run this guy a little soft because this at times can be dynamic and sustaining, depending on the play style and what you're playing. So I'm aiming for -12, but like if it's just rocking around -12 to -24 dB, then we're good. Okay, let's do the overheads. Just give me a good little cymbal wash across the board. The Sennheiser sound good, huh? Okay, so this is a stereo instrument as well, so we're actually gonna aim for like -24 dB. Go ahead and play it a little bit more. Play it like you're about to play in a bit. So I'm aiming for like kind of a sustain of like -24. Okay, you're good. And so the reason for that, especially between mono and stereo, right? So stereo, it's 2 input signals. So where my kick, I'm aiming for -12. On like a peak, I'm aiming for the peak to be around -12. I'm aiming for the sustain to be about -24, a little in between -24 and -12. Technically, you're aiming for -18 dB, but this console does not show me -18. So I'm kind of just aiming to where it's kind of sustaining around there. And then, obviously if it hits it harder, if it hits it like a good little crash, it's going to jump up. But then we have the headroom for that. So it goes past -12 up to like -6. That's what the headroom's for. So now that we've done that, I think we're doing pretty good over here, TJ. So we can...
Drums for success.